fire, fire, fire. This seemed really interesting to me. Like, good boy can't stop hacking celebrities. Why is it always men? Why can't women hack, chat? Why are there no women hackers? All right, what's this good boy doing? What is he doing? Hacking celebrities. What did he do? Did he did Squad hack some kittens?
2-year-old Joseph O'Connor seeing sunlight for the first time in years, closely followed by his lawyer mother, who was willing to say anything to not see her son be extradited to the US.
What?
He's never been arrested, he has never been in trouble. He has a very serious back injury, and his doctor has said that he shouldn't travel.
See,
uh-oh. Lawyer mother alert. Yeah, helicopter mother alert.
Joe had a secret he had been keeping from his mom. He had spent years hacking and extorting celebrities, stolen hundreds of thousands in crypto, and made quite the reputation for himself with the internet's biggest streamers under his handle, Plugwalk Joe. I want to play you a few clips, but they're not going to make a lot of sense just yet.
There's a SWAT team at my house right now, bro. I can hear them.
Emergency. Emergency.
Whoa. Hey.
That's scary, dude. As someone who's seen a lot of, like, you know, streamers that have talked about getting swatted, it's actually traumatizing. Yeah, we watched a video on XQC and his girlfriend, like, basically, like, sending a bunch of swatting attempts to his house. He says he has nightmares at night when he hears things. Yeah, it, like, triggers your freaking, like, instincts to, like, try and, like, you know, save yourself. So why people should carry the death penalty? I think you should just go to jail and not have access to the internet, but that's just me. Someone can die, man.
So all these popular streamers were getting swatted right around the time that Joe did his perp walk here. And I don't want to conflate that he swatted them. He had done some swatting, but not this swatting. But one of the people that's connected to these incidents ended up getting in a call with Aiden Ross and listened to what he had to say, especially about Joe towards the end.
But bro, why would you swat me because I didn't answer your DM, bro?
No, it's not even just about that. That's funny.
How is that funny though?
You were scared for your life? You thought you were gonna die? That's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, but we do it to you. You know what? If you're gonna say that, unironically, I think you should be swatted back. Like, you think it's funny? How about we do it to you? That's what I was saying. Like, oh, you got your shit stolen? I think it's funny. I got your shit. It's like, okay, well, how about I steal your shit back?
Wait, Aiden, can you say something for me?
What?
Can you say free Plugwalk Joe?
No, who the f is that?
Nah, you know who he is. We need to free him. Free Plugwalk.
Wait, I know that. Is that the guy who like sim swap Obama?
He was on SSB World with us.
Yes, I know. Him and Rice were making a server together.
See, this is a different type of hacker culture, if you will, than what I normally cover, and Joe is infamous within these circles. It's not about the money, it's about causing havoc for the attention. So today I want to take you into this world, how Joe went from booting noobs off in Call of Duty, to breaking into the accounts of numerous celebrities where he got up to all sorts of crazy stuff, to finally making one really bad connection within these shady circles that led Uncle Sam directly to his door.
Stinky.
Hey, why you don't got no box for that? Like, you got a
Rice Gum is such an old name. I can't believe he's relevant in this. What?
Why is Joe?
He's such a little scumbag.
Yo, Joe out here with the bust down, bro.
Women's self-defense is a con on the internet, so don't you women be wasting your time thinking you're going to start these new self-defense courses and you're going to knock men out. It's not happening, it's fantasy world, but anyway.
This is Joe's dad. In 1998, shortly after getting out of jail for sending razor blades in the mail, he was being charged...
Whoa, origin story? My dad sent razor blades in the mail and he went to jail for that? Hello?
with murdering a fellow Liverpool gangster. Except days before the trial was set to begin, the main witness disappeared, and so the charges were dropped. Now, this was all making big news back then because Mr. Joe was now running for a position on the Liverpool City Council.
That makes sense. Yeah, aren't all politicians criminals anyway?
At the same time working
Yeah,
as
he's
a
a perfect
bodyguard for
fit.
the then far-right British National Party leader Nick Griffin. I
Yeah, they're
get the sense
perfect.
that a lot of people
Perfect
didn't
spot.
like this guy, but it's around this time that he met Joe's mom. She got pregnant with little Joe, and he was
Little
pissed.
Joe.
According to the court records, didn't want a kid. I can't get into the specifics here, but by the time he was born in the summer of '99, it got really bad. His mom, shortly after her boss's car was petrol bombed as retaliation for opening a custody battle over little Joe, fled to southern Spain and was able to restart her career as a lawyer. Joe apparently struggled in school here, but by 2007,
Yeah, I
his
bet.
one
He doesn't
outlet
have a
had become
dad.
video games. The Game Boy got him hooked, and oh boy, by the time he got a computer, it was practically all he was doing. But then the 2008 financial crisis hit. His mom lost her job, and after living off savings for 2 years, she and Joe, now 10, returned to England looking for better prospects. But the school situation only got worse. Bullying dominated Joe's experience, and
That
he was not
sucks.
performing poorly academically. Eventually switched to more or less a homeschool routine, and by 14, according to his mom, was spending 16 to 18 hours a day on
And
his
she let him. Yeah, she let him do that. Isn't that crazy? Wow.
computer. What she didn't know is that Joe had been playing Call of Duty and
Dude, old
Counter-Strike,
COD,
had
man.
made
This is the COD that my brother played and I watched him. It's just the best one.
quite the reputation for himself. And I want to explore this period
Yes,
of Joe's
the
life because it helps
airport.
us understand how he made a leap from nerdy recluse into going after the world's most popular celebrities. Okay, so Joe has done an amazing job of clearing his old online profiles off the internet for good reason, but with some creative digging and talking to the folks who knew him back then, I've pieced it all together. Around 2014, Joe got involved in a website called Game Battles. This was MLG's official online competitive gaming platform. Specifically, Joe really liked to play the Call of Duty tournaments on here. Back then, he was going under the handle Complex, or one of these derivatives of it. His Skype specifically was Complex the God, and that has a
Skype,
really
oh.
important reference, but we'll
How many of you guys had a Skype? Me!
come back to it shortly. So within the Game Battles community, Joe pretty much immediately develops a
I had
reputation
one.
as a lag switcher. Check out this video.
Oh my god, I hated lag switchers and WoW, man. The ones that would pick up the flag and lag switch and so you couldn't catch them. Fucking hated that shit. Pissed me off.
Someone posted of him.
Well, I'll go host, and if we lose, I'll just like switch and say it's my connection fucking up. Cause
If you didn't
Yeah.
play Call of Duty back then, basically, if you were the host of the game lobby, you could purposely disrupt your own internet connection, and this would cause everyone else in the lobby to lag. It would give you like an unfair advantage though, because you wouldn't be
It
lagging
depends on the
yourself.
game.
And so if he was losing a games battle tournament, he could do this to give himself a bit of an edge.
Whoa, whoa. Stop lag switching.
Joe was
Stop
naturally also
lag
into DDoSing
switching!
people. Searching his username online shows that someone uploaded a video teaching others how to change their IP address. But in the description of the video, they have it dedicated to Joe, who, quote, booted me offline for 3 months straight. This
Oh my god. For 3 months? Dude, you didn't call your ISP or do anything? Like, come on. I learned that pretty fucking fast.
stuff was pretty
Back in the
common
day.
back then. For a couple of dollars on hacking forums, you could buy access to booters and knock someone's internet offline.
It wasn't even that deep. I remember back in like RBGs in Cataclysm, I remember a bunch of like the older boys that played that game. They would talk about how they would get kicked off because one of their idiot friends would join a Skype call with a girl's profile picture and get catfished into giving their IP because Skype doesn't have any security on it. And then they would just get their IP and start DDoSing them.
And putting Joe's no
Yeah, just
email into
catfishing
Have I
with
Been
girls.
Pwned, yeah, he was on a lot of these forums. And like many other kids on these forums, he was also making a little bit of money. We know he was selling CSGO matchmaking ready accounts. Someone would buy these to smurf or hack on. His mom even knew about this in a letter she wrote. Sadly, the YouTube and
She didn't do anything about it. That's crazy.
streaming accounts referenced here have since been deleted. What she didn't know is that Joe was maybe into some more risky methods. Now, I wasn't able to confirm this because I couldn't find any old posts by him as the website has been down for years, but one of his old friends who I spoke to told me that he was on socialengineer.net, and that does line up with what we know from the Have I Been Pwned search. Now, this is a forum dedicated to social engineering. Typically on these forums, that means finding creative ways to get free things from companies. He told me that Joe was specifically into buying cracked Amazon accounts. Apparently around this time, there was an exploit on myhabit.com. This was a flash sale website owned and operated by Amazon. The bug would let you log into an Amazon account and, more importantly, see the order history without actually going through the normal login security checks that existed on Amazon.com, like
Even
getting a
back
code to
then.
your email or phone.
Yeah.
This made it trivial to run credential stuffing attacks, and the goal was to find accounts that had purchased expensive items like PS4s, Xbox Ones, laptops, you name it. You could then use these accounts to
evil.
request replacements with a little sly bravado in the support chats. But this was the riskiest part of the process, because in most cases you were getting the fraudulent replacements mailed directly to your own house. And so other kids on the forum that would break into these accounts, find lists of them, would then sell them. And apparently Joe was buying these accounts and then using them to actually manipulate their support into sending him these items, or he would like do it
Dude, they probably changed protocol because of this shit.
for others as a service.
Wow.
I don't get the sense that this was a huge grift, but it does show that he was falling deeper and deeper into these communities.
What a little rat,
starting to
man.
find ways.
You know what I would do is I would try and rent like a warehouse and then have that shit all be sent to a warehouse nearby and then sell those goods.
To reward himself for
Yeah,
being
just
a
a little
part
baby,
of them,
you didn't
and
do
I
anything
think that
wrong.
pushed his descent into his later crimes. The final thing here is that username, Complex the God. Check it out. Around this time, Woody's gamertag posted a series of videos about his hacker.
Maybe 2-3 months ago, I made a video called My Hacker's Going to Jail, and it's about Cosmo, otherwise known as Cosmo the God. He took down NASDAQ, CIA.gov,
Cosmo
right, which is
the
America's like,
God.
Central Intelligence Agency. He took down UFC.com. He redirected 4chan to point to his own Twitter account. He pioneered social engineering techniques, it's coming out of the article I'm reading, to gain access to
What?
user accounts at Amazon,
Just open a P.O. box. Yeah, but that P.O. box is still tied to your physical location. The government can find it that way more easily, or at least people looking into it. Yeah, why wouldn't you have like a, I don't know, like a better way?
PayPal, and a slew of other companies. That slew of other
That's what I would
companies
do.
includes Microsoft, because how I learned about Cosmo the first time was he stole my Xbox Live gamer tag. Somehow I got on his radar.
Did you catch that? Cosmo the God.
Yep.
Cosmo was part of a group called Underground, a word I can't say here on YouTube. Cosmo was a social engineer that used his skills to wreak
Wonder what
havoc
that
on all
word is.
sorts
The
of
Phillian
companies,
word.
mainly for fun and attention. I'll do an entire video on his group at some point, so make sure to subscribe.
I like
now,
this guy,
I can't
Crumb.
know if Joe saw this video by Woody, but I'm the same age as Joe. I was also into Call of Duty, and I did, and I thought Cosmo was so cool. I even made an account ending in the God, just like Cosmo, and lots of other kids on these forums did too.
What?
And that tells me that he looked up to
Idolize
these hacker
them.
stories in some way, and based on what he would go on to do, wanted to be just like them. Now, there's one last thing from this period in Joe's life that caused him to abandon the Complex alias and delete these old accounts. Because come 2015, all of this was beginning to catch up with him. People didn't like him for what he was doing, and his name and address were leaked online. To quote Joe, "This was the first time I realized I was not anonymous and not simply a username, but someone who could be traced. People began showing up outside of his house, harassing him, recording it, and posting it online." According to Joe's testimony, once, quote, 4 people came to his door, one live streaming, another with weapons, threatening him and his mom, but they were able to chase them off with metal poles. Like,
Oh
that's
my
pretty
God.
intense, man.
That's
but I think as
terrible.
this stuff went on longer and longer, he became desensitized to it. He started using the handle PlugWalkJoe online, everywhere, which turned out to be a
And then
really
he's gonna do it to someone else and thinks it's funny. Oh
bad
yeah,
idea
this
because
is
he
the
hadn't
rabbit
even really
hole.
kicked off his hacking spree yet. But that was about to change. Joe, now 18, just shy of his 19th birthday, moves back to Spain with his mom. He's out of school, has no plans to pursue further education, no job, and he's spending all
He's
his
a
time online,
NEET.
barely going outside.
And his mommy lets him. Let's go.
This is when things get crazy.
The
Come
first
September
victim.
2018, Apple was releasing the iPhone XS, and their big marketing campaign had people hyped up. But then, over 17 million subscribers got a notification on YouTube. A new video by Logan Paul had just been uploaded, but anyone who clicked it would find something really odd. The title of the video was just giveaway, and it was only 21 seconds long, urging people to click the link in the description to claim a free iPhone.
This happens all the time. Didn't Crony get hacked from HoloLive? Someone used her account to, like, you know, post a Bitcoin or whatever it was, a shit coin, Crony coin. Yeah, this happens all the time. Don't click stuff.
Within minutes, the video was removed. It had only got 10,000 views. And then another one pops up, titled Giving Away 1,500 iPhones. This was a much more Logan Paul inspired title, and this one stayed up for hours. Gained over 100,000 views before it got deleted. And the link in the description just led to a spammy, infinite ad loop website that the hackers were probably making some profit off people visiting. But it's not like this was a super sophisticated phishing campaign that actually made you think you were getting a free iPhone when you clicked. It was all a little weird. At the same time, Logan's Twitter had just been taken over, and whoever the hacker was, they were tweeting all sorts of bizarre stuff like KSI is a stranger alpha male, and this will be remembered as the day Twitter was hijacked and crashed. And then they're making a bunch of tweets asking people to follow weird accounts. And here it is, a familiar name in all of this strangeness.
Complex.
Follow @PlugWalkJoe, and I'll quote drop Logan Paul's sex tape. A promising reward that no one got to watch because Logan quickly took back his accounts and deleted all of this nonsense. Joe had clearly made it into a hacking group. They clearly had a method to break into high-profile accounts.
And again, at the end of the day, just don't click stuff that you don't trust, man.
But I don't think they were putting much thought into the whole thing yet. That said, they were about to abuse this to high heaven. Speaking of stolen accounts, today's sponsor, Incogni, will protect your online data from being leaked through data brokers. Since starting to use Incogni nearly a year ago, they've deleted my data from more data brokers than I can remember. See, these companies called data aggregators collect your personal information. They know your name, phone number, relatives, medical conditions, and anything else they can get their hands on. They then sell that information to data brokers who creatively package it and sell it to the highest bidder. The worst part? They often don't care who that bidder is. Advertisers, spammers, stalkers, hackers. An obvious example of this type of abuse is the people search
every
websites
day.
where you can buy the
So
personal
annoying.
information of almost anyone. I suspect these have been used in a couple of the hacks that I've covered on my channel to steal millions of dollars.
We saw
from
this
victims.
one.
And this is where Incogni comes into the picture. They use data privacy laws to take your personal information down from these data brokers. And once is never enough. They keep
beat 'em
following
up.
up and keep insisting to make sure your data stays down. I love this because if you've seen my video on breach forms, you know there's so many hackers specifically targeting data brokers, hacking them to get their databases and then leaking them online, sometimes charging thousands of dollars. That's why it's so important to have your data removed, because once your data leaks, there's nothing you can do about it. So you want your data off of these data broker websites before that happens. I've avoided a dozen breaches because of Incogni. I've even signed my parents up now, and since using them, they're getting way less spam phone calls. I'm not so worried about them falling prey to all the crazy phishing campaigns going around, because like their contact information isn't ending up in these target lists. So if you're ready to take your personal data back, go to incogni.com/crumb and use code crumb to get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/crumb, code crumb. An amazing deal by an amazing company. Thank you, Incogni. Come summer 2019, Joe went on another huge hacking streak. King Bach, James Charles, Chloe Moretz, Shane Dawson, even the founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, all lost.
I'm sorry, the last one is really funny to me. It's like the guy that owns Twitter doesn't have any security and he fell for a phishing scam. Nah, come on. Like, what did you do? Click on like see hot naked ladies?
Access to their accounts, and the hackers started spamming all this crazy stuff.
Jack on Friday got hacked. That's Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, and this is what his Twitter feed ended up looking like.
Chungus.
From racial slurs to anti-Semitic rants, the hacker or hacker group sent out offensive tweets on Friday
Holy
afternoon
shit.
to over 4 million of @Jack's followers.
While celebrity news outlets were frantically
Holy
researching how computer
crap.
hacks work and then trying to explain that in a way that 50-year-old moms will understand, the attacks kept escalating. This time, even targeting a Twitter belonging to Etika, who had just passed away a month before, and these tweets were made like having no respect for this man's death. And here it is, what we've been looking for. These shoutout tweets were the common thread between all of the
they're all
hacks.
just getting
Joe had got
followers out of
involved
it.
in a group called the Chuckling Squad, and it seemed they were willing to try anything for a little clout. When they got into Bella Thorne's Snapchat, they found nude photos, and then threatened to release them if she didn't make a video thanking the hackers and tagging all of their accounts. When she didn't immediately do that, Joe got into her Twitter, posted this nasty stuff, and then further threatened to leak those photos if 5,000 people followed him. But Bella wasn't about to go down without a fight. She managed to regain access to her accounts and just posted those photos herself, alongside all the text messages of them attempting to extort her. She took
I wouldn't have done that. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this kind of is like an L in itself, to be honest. Giga Chad? I don't know. Is it based? Is it based to like post your own nudes to fuck the hackers over? I mean, I guess. I don't know. Power move W is ballsy. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I've never like thought about this kind of position to be in, but damn, okay. They have no power over that? I mean, I guess.
the power
if it's
away from
inevitable,
them.
I suppose.
And after the incident, she was
That
going and talking
sucks.
to news agencies. If this thing wasn't fake. At this time,
Yeah, his mom literally is a lawyer and she let him just do whatever the hell he wanted. Are we really that surprised?
he's living in Spain alone for most of the day. His mom went back to the UK but had hired a nanny to take care of him because
Wait, a nanny? How old is he? He's like fucking 16, 18 years old in this photo?
according to her, he was incapable of self-care. So this
That is unironically such a skill issue. I'm telling you, this is all her fault, really. Like,
nanny's like buying the groceries, right? Bringing them over, maybe cooking some meals, doing some cleaning. This is when news articles
that's
start
insane.
to come out. They had found out how Joe and friends were getting into all of these accounts.
You'd be surprised, man. Like, some people don't even know how to wipe their own ass, I guess. He was 19 last we checked. That's crazy. Nah. Mommy's special boy. Yeah, no wonder if she fucking defends him this hard.
Even King Bach posted a video about how it happened.
What a
It was
pussy.
18.
Crypto accounts to steal hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of
it's
dollars.
more lucrative. This guy's just doing it because he thinks it's funny.
Yeah, by the way, Joe had been doing that too.
Oh.
It turns out,
probably
just
makes
before
her
moving back to
rich.
Spain in June 2019, before these celebrity attacks, Joe and two underage co-conspirators targeted a Manhattan-based company providing crypto wallet infrastructure services to crypto exchanges around the world. They took over the phones of the co-founder and vice president of development. From here, they got into the G Suite admin panel, which they used to access even more accounts within the company. By digging through their emails and Azure server environments, they were able to find and steal $794,000 worth of crypto. Today, this would be worth nearly $3 million. And to celebrate,
lot.
they used one of the executives' Skype accounts to create a group chat with all the employees within the company and taunted them for about 2 hours for, quote, getting hacked by a group of kids.
I mean,
The stolen coins
Skype was never known for having great security. Like I said, all you needed to do was get into a call with someone and you could get their IP. I'm not even joking. That's how easy it was.
were subsequently laundered by sending them through
I would argue that being a script kiddie, like, was kind of like on the scale more difficult because you at least had to press the button to like get the program to work, whereas like joining a Skype call and then reading an IP is like even easier.
Series of
That's so
transactions
sad.
meant to hide where they went. They must have not realized how easy it is to trace this stuff, because at the end of the blockchain was an account on Binance registered under Joe's name, to which he received his share of the spoils. Shortly after this hack, he also broke into a Coinbase account, stealing 0.5 bitcoins, a Gemini account where he stole another 1.6, and another Coinbase where he took 18 more. But he then had some sort of falling out with the other two from that big attack. He started getting death threats again. People were showing up outside of his house.
You can never trust people that you make money with in that way. You're all criminals. They'll literally just like throw you under the bus the instant something bad happens. 90% of these videos that we've watched, like we watch them every once in a while, but whenever criminals get involved and they're like, oh, I would never rat you out. It's like, do you know who instantly rats you out? Your friend. Your friend.
More
yeah, no
videos.
honor among thieves.
His mom has
exactly.
now said on record that this pushed them to make that move back to Spain, but she's careful here to say that they plan to do the move regardless, because otherwise that would be running. Nevertheless, this was meant to be a wake-up call for Joe. He promised his mom that he wouldn't steal anymore. I mean, I guess technically that doesn't take the celebrity hacks I just told you about off the table. Anyways, back alone in Spain, he must have felt impervious here. Like it was safer to do this sort of stuff than it was in the UK. I mean, he even paid a press agency to have these articles written about him saying he was a crypto expert. Maybe this was meant to justify where the bitcoins were coming from, but like talk about beyond reckless. It seems these articles were published in 2020 by looking at the view source and the published date on them, but I'm a little confused because he used like baby face pictures of himself, even though he's an adult by the time this is written.
That's
but if
weird.
2020
Okay.
is right, one of the Chuckling Squad members had already been arrested. The guy who was responsible for finding the phone numbers of celebrities. So Joe knew the stakes, right? Why do it? Well, maybe this was his way to impress girls. In late June 2020,
he's not impressing girls, he's acquiring money to try and impress these hoes. Do you guys remember the $350 dinner date that we were talking about, and how this woman was like, oh my god, if you can't afford a $350 dinner date, you're not a real man. That's who he's impressing.
Joe had met a girl in a Discord server he hung out in often. Joe was now 21. When she told him she was 16, he responded, wow, you're actually really young. Despite that, within days, he was sending her explicit threats and sexual messages. So much of this I can't quote here on YouTube, but things like he wanted to, you know, I actually really can't say this, but it's about as bad as it gets. He went on to send a photo of his genitalia, and she ended up posting this photo and screenshots of the messages to the Discord server.
Oh
From what I can gather, the server was
God.
full of a bunch of comm kids. It's like other sim swappers and hackers. She also told Joe that he was going to be hacked, and he wanted revenge. So on June 25th,
She
just 4 days
betrayed
after meeting
him.
her,
Oh no. What
he
a
launched
love
a
story.
full-on swatting campaign. First, he posted to Reddit as if she were planning a, can't say it on YouTube, dude, but after making the post, he called the Garden Grove.
Wait, what? I missed it.
As if she were planning a,
What? Was making threats to something at minorities in Garden Grove. The Red Post gave an address for anyone who had a, to like gangbang him.
can't say it on YouTube, dude.
Holy
but after
shit.
making the post, he called the Garden Grove police to report it. Basically tried to frame her, this teenage girl, as some kind of mass, can't say it on YouTube. A few hours later, he phoned the police again, this time pretending to be a furious husband who caught his wife cheating, threatening to do all sorts of awful things with all sorts of awful weapons to guarantee a major police response. It worked. A large chunk of the police force swarmed her address, ready for an active situation. While this is going down, Joe decides it would be the perfect time to call the fire department. They get firefighters to also go to the house, adding to the chaos. And like, if this wasn't enough, he then emails her principal, once again posing as her, threatening to, bunch of stuff I can't say on YouTube.
Oh my
He also posts to
God.
Reddit again, still
Dude,
framing
he's a
her,
class
saying that he planted
A
a bunch of can't say it on
racist.
YouTube at local restaurants. Then he calls the sheriff's department and claims that he's going to do horrible things in an airport if $60,000 isn't delivered to, you guessed it, her address. Keep in mind, this is all happening in one day. Joe was relentlessly hammering this poor girl. And because that wasn't enough, he then starts personally calling her relatives, telling him that he's going to do all these awful things to them. She eventually confronts him online, and he basically shrugs it off and said that she deserved it. Over the next few weeks, Joe even started bragging about these calls on Snapchat, openly mocking her, saying that he doxed her and that it's messed up, isn't it? You think by now someone would have stopped Joe? We're going on 2 years of very public, like, it's not even just...
Their frontal cortex hasn't developed yet, man. And they gave them so much power. Again, I said this once, I'll say it again. This is all because of really poor parenting. Like, yeah, he might have been a problem kid without it and maybe some discipline, but like, he didn't have a dad. His mom like just let him do whatever the hell he wanted, unsupervised for 16 to 18 hours a day. What the hell was she doing the whole time? Like, my parents were workaholics too, but damn.
Hacking anymore, extortion, swatting. We know people were looking for him already. According to Brian Krebs, a private investigator from a telecom company had posed as another girl and actually got him to start doing video calls, which they were using as an attempt to track his location. I guess on video they matched a pool he had previously posted about on Instagram to one that was in the background of one of these video calls. But still, no one had busted down his door. But that was about to change because come July, Joe was going to make a really, really big mistake.
Uh-oh.
It's being called the biggest security incident in Twitter's history. Attackers targeted several high-profile accounts with thousands of followers in an apparent Bitcoin scam. Now get this, they include accounts of former President Barack.
No, they got Mr. Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Even Bill Gates isn't safe. How is that possible?
Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Bill Gates, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Now, this is the message that appeared on Musk's Twitter. It read in part, quote, "Feeling grateful, doubling all payments sent to my BTC address." Now, the tweet also had a link where people can donate.
The classic RuneScape doubling scam.
Yes!
Of course, those who
I was literally about to bring that up, like, double or nothing. Double or nothing, I'll send back. If you give me, I'll double it, dude. That I feel like a lot of these people wouldn't have gotten scammed if they just played RuneScape or World of Warcraft. I did this on WoW too after I learned about it from RuneScape friends.
Their precious bitcoins received absolutely nothing. I made an entire 37-minute documentary on the guy behind this attack. Even though the amount stolen was relatively small, $117,000. This made huge international news rounds because the sheer number, over 130 high-profile accounts taken over. And the biggest question was, how did this happen and who was responsible? All fingers were initially pointing to Plugwalk Joe because just one day before the attack, he posted this picture of Twitter's back-end admin panel. This sent journalists down the rabbit hole of his history, and it made perfect sense that someone who had been hacking celebrities for years on Twitter had finally done the big dirty. The truth was, the real culprits behind this attack had actually reached out to Joe before committing it, because before abusing their access in this huge way, they were just trying to use it to sell some rare usernames. And Joe was known in the community to like rare names. He entertained them with the idea of purchasing...
That's really popular in World of Warcraft and in RuneScape as well. I don't know about other MMOs, but probably in RuneScape it's really sought after. 3-letter names that are like wolf or like dog, cat, like small letter words. Really popular. Clan names too.
At 6 on Twitter for $10,000, but he was requesting that they show...
I think Discord has this issue as well, but like to a lesser extent. Same back in D2. Yeah, like it was really popular. I think it's just like always been like that, to be honest.
Him proof that they actually had access to do these account takeovers. First, he asked them to make changes to the @6 profile, adding PWJ to the name and updating the account's profile picture. They did that, and then he said, hey, well, that's not enough. Like, show me how you have access to do this. And they sent him the picture of the back-end admin panel that he would then go on to post publicly. And he actually did that as kind of an FU, because it showed other people that wanted to buy those usernames that these people had breached Twitter. And in the OG username circle, that's not good because it means there's a high chance of those usernames getting clawed back one once the hack is discovered versus if an insider was truly selling them. Anyways, I explained more about that in my full video. The trouble for Joe is he didn't know what was going to happen the day after he posted that. He had unknowingly advertised to the world his involvement in a major criminal breach. And now with the stories running, pointing to him as the mastermind, the damage was done. This was so effective that to this day, a lot of people still get the stories mixed up and blame Joe as being the mastermind behind the Twitter hack, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I also detail more of this in my big video, but two of the kids who were actually involved in the hack more or less got tricked into giving the Times an interview about how the hack worked under the guise of clearing their names. I think they both got more jail time because of it, but nevertheless, during that interview, of course, Plugwalk Joe came up. So the Times reached out to Joe for a comment, and all he said was, I don't care, they can come arrest me, I would laugh at them, I haven't done anything. But I think
I think to this guy, again, it's the thrill of getting attention because he doesn't get any attention from mom and dad. I know this like circles back to like really basic psychology, but because his mom like didn't pay attention to him for 16 to 18 hours a day, I truly believe that the reason why he did most of the stuff, like, yeah, obviously the money is like really great and getting attention from girls is great, but like the attention from media and all that like infamy and glory and being known in the quote unquote hacker community, that's what set him off. That gave him the best dopamine.
For the first time,
Chat, love your child if you have one.
Because we know shortly after, he actually called the React Task Force General number and left a voicemail asking them to call back, stating it was in regards to the Twitter hack and that he had nothing to do with it. React is a special task force, mainly made up of FBI agents that take on specifically technology crime. They're the ones that bust all of the SIM swappers. So a React FBI agent gave Joe a call back, and he essentially spilled all the beans about everything I just told you. The names of the people who tried to sell him the handle, the Discord name of who he thought the mastermind hacker was, this guy going under the name Kirk, and even worse, he went on to confirm with them many of his own earlier Twitter hacks as a way to say, hey, yeah, I did these ones, but I didn't do the big one. This was a really bad move. It led to the FBI directly opening an investigation for his participation in this new Twitter hack. But still, Joe was an ocean away. How were they going to catch him?
No, you think you're gonna get away with it?
In the months following the Twitter hack, no one came knocking on Joe's door. Publicly, he seemed to have calmed down. He got into Grand Theft Auto role-playing servers and eventually joined forces with RiceGum to create their own
of course, the slimiest motherfucker ever
server called BTC World. How fitting. I'm not really sure how their relationship developed, but Joe was in charge of making the server and RiceGum was to promote it once finished. Every now and then, Joe and Rice would go on stream together to show off the progress.
Discord/BTC World, everything that you need is in there, and I'm not sure.
We have mad shit going on. Like, I'm doing a thing where I give it like, so you know the way people be making those like clips of them, like, you know, like the way people have phase 5 and shit. Like, I want to do like montages for this server and give like the best clip $1,000 and shit like that. So I'll be rewarding people who put in work and shit.
Yeah, Joe's fucking rich, bro.
If done right, these servers can be little cash cows, by the way. We can also see Joe in RiceGum's Discord server, and people used to speculate in here that he was taking over Instagram accounts at request. I don't believe that to be true, but clearly people knew his history. So while Joe was having the time of his life—
Wait, hold on, go back. I want Joe to get into Cutie Cinderella's Insta again. That far back? This is 2021.
Believe
that's
that to be
wild,
true, but clearly
man.
people knew his history. So while Joe was having the time of his life, getting friendly with all the big streamers, the FBI was working behind the scenes to build their case. It wasn't
Dude, what if an FBI guy had to like role play in a GTA roleplay server?
Hard to find him. The first thing they did was subpoena his Twitter. The records returned this. Yeah, he had previously posted his ID with the caption, "Here are my real childhood pictures."
How fucking retarded are you?
Logs from his Snapchat found another picture of his passport, this time also including the passport number. You can't make this stuff up. Remember, this is the Twitter he was advertising
What for?
on all of his big celebrity hacks. They also found that he often never used VPNs, and when he did, he would log in between hacked accounts and his known accounts without changing the location, directly linking him to those crimes.
Oh my
They put together a
God.
51-page document containing all the proof they needed to secure a strong conviction. I can't stress
feds, I
how much evidence
suppose,
this is,
for
but of all my
once.
videos on hackers, I've never seen a criminal complaint this long. I already mentioned it, but even the big crypto hack, they traced the stolen funds to being sold on a Binance account that was registered under Joe's name.
Yep.
And finding his address, even in Spain, was easy. Spain is part of the 14 Eyes surveillance alliance that monitors and shares people's internet activity. So they had his real IP address. All they had to do was ask his internet service provider to share the billing details.
No one is truly anonymous.
Prompted the states to work with the Spanish National Police to run a surveillance operation on his villa. See what he did
The
throughout the day, where he
eyes.
went, that sort of thing. But they had a problem. Over the 4 months they spent watching, they never saw him once. He literally never left the apartment.
I mean, you know, it's not, you know, I can relate a little bit.
Never went outside.
Yeah.
This wasn't ideal. Typically when arresting hackers, you don't want them to have any heads up, any chance to delete evidence from their computer. Sometimes hackers have even been known to build kill switches that at the click of a button will erase everything. Such was the
There's people who actually like destroy things. They have a kill switch that blows it up, like lights it on fire so it can be damaged.
case with Alexander Craze, but I'll cover that story soon, so make sure you hit that big red button.
He's
so
a VTuber?
Since it didn't
Yeah.
seem like they'd ever get the opportunity to catch him outside, away from his devices, they were going to need to raid his apartment with him still in it.
Uh-oh.
On the morning of July 21st, 2021, Spanish National Police finally made their move. After the months of surveillance, they bust into Joe's apartment, finding him exactly where he spent most of his time, in front of his computer. You can see in this photo that they sat him down and combed through it for evidence. As soon as she heard the news, Joe's mom took the first flight back to Spain. The following day, reporters...
Oh, then she suddenly cares about her little boy. Interesting.
That is wrong. So we're all...
This is the ultimate Karen. Suddenly, when your son fucks up after you didn't supervise him or parent him the whole time he was growing up, now you care. Classic Karen.
So going to
What could it be to fucking travel? Like, he was walking around just fine. Like, extradite him on a fucking jet, man. Holy shit, man.
in
Send him by boat.
And they all were given
US to be close to him, to assist in his
He's
defense.
a danger. You can't have him near a computer. That even if I don't think like he didn't directly like murk someone, like he didn't murder someone, but like at the same time he's like a danger to the community, man.
But it was a ton of money. Bella Thorne was
How do you pay back what you can't have? Like, are they gonna garnish his wages until he dies? I mean, that's kind of like the Nintendo move, I suppose.
also quick to this huge document written up.
He had no compassion, and you didn't have a care until this happened. I just want to know what she was doing, genuinely. Like, how do you not pay attention to your kid for 16 to 18 hours?
Which I used a ton in testimonies from family members. And
Why is he allowed to work with computers? Like, I just don't understand. Why is that allowed? Yeah, I got him a job in computers. So he's just gonna pull the same shit because he's gonna be tempted?
People who Joe was incarcerated with, attesting to his change in character. A decision has yet to be made on this though, and it's likely Joe's gonna be actually released before a judge even looks at it.
Alright, yo, I'm gonna hit you, gang. I love you.
Love you too. Bye, chat. Love you guys.
I think Rice Gum should be like at least like fined or something for like giving him a platform too. That guy is such a scumfuck. I can't believe he's still around. I thought he died of like irrelevancy like years ago. Not literally. I meant like, you know, like proverbially speaking. Does he still stream? Rice Gum has so many scams. Yeah, like why hasn't anything happened to him? God, this fucking video made me mad. He died of ligma. Ligma balls. Go check him out. I like Crumb. He makes good videos. Very well informed.